Welcome to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the television series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which you may remember from your youth.
What are you doing?
I don't know, I'm riffing. Is it not working for you?
No, it's really not.
It's not working for me either. We don't have a guest again this week.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm trying to fill
Some time.
I'm
talking like Christopher Walken. It's morphin time.
We should definitely have you doing the whole episode of Christopher Walken.
That's all. You're lucky you got those 3 words.
Our episode? Oh boy. Our website is www.rangerdangerpodcast.com. Send us emails at rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com. We're at RangerDcast on Twitter. We're also on iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube.
One of these days you're just going to remember those all off the top of your head.
I did. I wasn't looking at anything then. It just wasn't smooth. That's all. So we're going to watch episode number 31.
Yep.
Holy shit, we've done 31 episodes. Episode 31, Calamity Jane.
No,
Calamity Kimberley.
Yep.
There's no Jane on this show, Matt.
no.
No.
You could be a guest star.
It's really late, guys. I'm not on my game. I'm sorry.
It's 9 o'clock. I mean, it's late, but I don't know. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday.
It's late for me. I've had a big week. Before we do that, what we might do, in fact what we will do, because I promised we'd do it last week, is finish off our list of the top 30 episodes of the top 30 monsters of the first 30 episodes of Power Rangers. Now, we finished off the list last week with Madame Woe.
At number 16, yep.
Okay, so the next on the list
Yep.
is Lokar, who we got to quite recently.
Yes, from the Island of Illusion.
That's right. Now, he was the Great Satan.
Yes,
In the
was.
Japanese footage. Unfortunately, not the Great Satan in Power Rangers.
No, he was just David Bowie's floating blue head.
Yeah, but he's visually interesting.
Yep, he's exciting in a kind of a different way.
His powers are that he blows on people and then they fall into an island in another dimension.
No, he blows on monsters and makes them stronger.
Oh, was it Rita that sings
Yeah,
this? Okay.
the other dimension was a different thing.
Well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's Loka. Next up, Chunky Chicken.
Oh, we love the Chunky Chicken.
We do love the Chunky. Chunky Chicken is a cool name. Chunky Chicken looks cool.
Chunky Chicken sounds like a flavour of soup.
It does. But he's not a soup.
No.
He's a giant monster. And he carries around a pair of scissors.
A giant, like, not even just giant because he's giant. Oversized.
Comically big.
Compared to himself.
Yeah. Which would be cool enough, but the scissors cut through the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's a chicken. I don't understand the link there.
They don't even make him talk with a chicken voice. He doesn't do like, "Peacock, I'm going to kill you."
No.
Peacock. No, he's just a monster.
He's just a monstrous chicken with reality cutting scissors, which,
You know, like all monstrous chickens.
I think that pretty well sums up what I do actually love about Power Rangers. Is
That's true.
that insanity.
Number 13.
The Gnarly Gnome.
You guys remember the Gnarly Gnome?
I hope you don't, so I hope you've managed to move past
Oh,
it.
I like the Gnarly Gnome. He had that weird kind of party...
He did have a weird party in a cave
Yeah,
with evil monsters. That
that's what we all aspire to.
isn't it just? And he had a magic accordion
Yep.
that one of the powers it had was that when he played it, he was able to make himself appear as a giant building and confuse the Power Rangers.
Look, guys, we don't understand.
But it was cool.
It was cool.
Number 12 is The Nasty Knight.
The Canasti Knight.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
I was just going to let you have that
If you're
one.
going to spell it with a K, I'm going to pronounce it with a K.
Why did we put him so high on the list?
I think he had that cool summoning sequence where he was summoned.
Yeah, I think that was
He
really...
was sinister.
It was sinister. I think that was the first time where we got to see, like, evil rich Rita actually doing evil witch things in a way that was legitimately creepy. And he got to slash a tree open as soon as he appeared.
Yep.
It was just sinister. And he looked like a formidable foe.
I mean, he wasn't, but...
No. But he had a cool sort of rivalry with Zack. It was a pretty cool fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, decent bad guy.
Number 11,
King Sphinx.
who is actually sitting on our desk right now, courtesy of special guest Ash.
And I think that's why he's so high list, is because for whatever reason, he became representative of all Power Ranger monsters in that first season. You
Yep.
know? He got little toys made out of him, he got big toys made out of him.
I'm pretty sure he's on the front cover of the Power Rangers board game.
Yeah, we just looked over and checked behind us. He's on the cover of the board game. He's all over the place.
He is kind of the iconic Power Rangers monster.
Yeah, and look, he's got a cool kind of design. He's vaguely Egyptian and can blow things away with his wings. So,
Yep. Yeah,
you know,
that's pretty cool.
just a solid bad guy.
Number 10, top 10. Let's count it down.
All right, so entering the top 10 is Rita Repulsa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which feels about right for her, I think.
It does, you know. She's pretty creative. She has some impressive powers. But by the same token...
She's never achieved anything.
And not only that, when I say she's got some impressive powers, I mean she can make stuff big.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
She occasionally does some evil chanting that does things.
Yeah, sometimes she sends people to alternate dimensions.
With tiny leprechaun people.
Yeah.
Who become DJs. I'm still not over that.
I think ultimately, though, she's not the most threatening of
but she's easily kind of the most... I mean, she's in every episode. She's the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that.
That is, and she is kind of interesting as a person. Saying... she opens up every episode with her...
After 10,000 years, I'm free!
That's
It's time to conquer! One of these days I'm going to figure out how to actually do that voice.
Yeah.
But it's not today.
It's definitely not today. But, you know, that's iconic. So she gets into the top 10.
Number 9.
Bones.
Bones. Look, Bones is in this for one reason. And that's that when he is blown apart, the bones float back together.
That's one reason for you. For me, he gets to wear a cool hat.
He does also get a cool hat.
I think he has like a cool cape. He has a bone sword. He's a cool guy, man.
But he's visually exciting. He's got that cool power. He's very early in the series. He's kind of setting up what these monsters can be.
Yep. He gets to ride around on a merry-go-round.
Surprisingly many of these monsters do.
Yeah. I really like Bones. Yeah. Bones is a cool guy. Number 8.
Yep.
Now, speaking of monsters that are in the top 10 for one reason.
Yep.
Is Snizzard, who we love pretty much only because he was voiced by Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad.
And I mean, look, let's be honest. It's not obviously Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad.
No, it's not.
If you didn't know, and if he hadn't admitted to it live on television, it would be still a mystery.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's not like he's got like a fedora and a moustache and he's, I am the one who morphs. We're not getting any of that kind of nonsense going on, right? It's just that it's a interesting historical fact.
Yeah, very interesting.
It pushes him over the limit.
Yeah. Not only that, he does shoot little snakes from his mouth like arrows, and that's pretty cool. He's like, as much as we say Bryan Cranston is the reason for him being in the top 10, as a monster, he's still pretty
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Enough that he comes back, I believe, at some point.
I think if he was lame, being Bryan Cranston wouldn't save him.
Yeah.
But because he's pretty cool, it gives him a boost.
That's right.
Number 7.
The Super Puddies.
Yeah.
Now, I was expecting to not be impressed by these guys.
No.
But they're pretty cool. Like, again, visually interesting in that when they get destroyed, they immediately break apart and then reform in claymation. Which I think we all love claymation. You should love claymation.
And I mean, it certainly for this show is entirely out of left field.
It is. I don't know what else we can say about that, except that it was just fun. It was different. It wasn't one monster. It was a big threat.
Ostensibly, we have been fighting the super putties since then, instead of the regular putties.
Not that it's made much
But
difference.
we haven't needed the Thunder Slingers to destroy them.
Yeah. Do you think the Thunder Slingers ever come back, or just a once-off?
I honestly don't know.
A Thunder Slinger comes with the Zack or the Black Ranger toy that you got me the other day, so hopefully.
Yep.
Okay, number 6, Eye Guy from
Eye
Guy.
Eye Guy is pretty great.
Yeah,
he's got a cool design.
I think you know how you're saying how Bones shows what a monster could be.
Yep.
I think Eye Guy is another early one that's like, these have really cool designs.
He's just covered in eyes.
Yeah, and he's another monster that has a few different forms. Like he can float around as just a single eyeball.
Yep.
Who can trap people within himself
on a sex machine.
I don't know why. Still don't know why you think that's a sex machine. But...
This is kind of an exciting flashback. This is.
It is.
It was absolutely. That's what it is. It's some kind of bondage harness.
I don't know what sort of sex you have, but
definitely not that kind.
Yeah. Number 5 is Terratoad.
Yep,
Terratoad's pretty cool.
he is.
He has another really cool design and a gimmick in that he can swallow pretty much everything.
And do they end up on his belly? Am I imagining?
Yeah, so he ends up swallowing the Power Rangers, not in the sexy way, and ends up with Power Ranger Power Rangers faces on his belly, like tattoos almost.
Yep.
So it's just very different.
Just a nice, different gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, Matt.
Pudgy Pig.
Oh, Pudgy Pig.
Yeah. I think trying to sell a villain in a one-line concept, when you say he's a pig who's going to try and destroy the world by eating the entire world's food supply in 24 hours.
Also, he's wearing a Centurion's helmet.
You don't get much better than that.
No. Pudgy Pig is kind of the platonic ideal of Power Rangers monsters.
He really is. I love him so much.
Second, perhaps only to number 3.
Yeah.
Shell Shock.
I love Shell Shock.
Shell Shock is a turtle.
Yep.
With a traffic light on his head.
Yep.
And both of those things are different gimmicks that he has.
Yep.
One of them is he uses the traffic light as a ray gun.
A ray gun that when he shoots red, they stop. And when he shoots green, they move super fast and can't help themselves from, running.
And his limbs can retract back into his shell and come out as other weapons.
You're like a cannon and a hook he has.
And a baseball bat.
So what happens is that Finstar gets, a little clay model of a pig and gets a little clay model of a traffic light and jabs the traffic light into his head and puts that in the monster machine with a baseball bat, a hook, and a cannon.
Shell Shock, guys.
There's something so perfect about that I can't even quite articulate. It's beautiful.
It's how this show. It's a perfect example of how the logic of this show works.
And it's just so profoundly creative.
Yeah.
This is the show at its best. We can just take these disparate elements, combine them, and have them all be interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
Within the episode.
Number 2, Matt. We're getting very close to the top now.
We are. Number 2 is...
Number 2 might actually be a surprise.
Yeah. Number 2 is Tommy.
Yep.
The Green Ranger from Green with Evil. Now, we did have a bit of debate as to whether we could include him.
Yes.
But he is evil for a while.
Yep.
And he does also get made large to fight the Megazord.
Yes.
So I think that is enough to qualify him for the list.
He's definitely the villain of 4 out of the 5 episodes that he's in significantly.
Yeah.
So I think it's reasonable to count him.
And I think he is easily the most effective villain on the show.
I mean, yeah.
He destroys the Megazord, breaks into the command center, disables Alpha 5, gets rid of Zordon for a while.
Twice. He disables Alpha 5 twice.
Twice. Throws a fireball. It's just like...
yeah, I mean, look, you guys know how cool Tommy is, right? He was just... It's impossible to come up with a Power Rangers bad guy who could be as good as Tommy.
Yeah, it is impossible. And I think part of the reason why you think of him as so cool is because so early on in his appearance, he kicks down the back door of the Megazord and sucker punches all the Power Rangers in the back of the head. Like, he literally dominates them.
Yeah.
And that's why
Maybe
you respect
on
him.
that eye guy harness.
Gross. Okay, shall we go to number 1?
Number 1.
The monster that I think I have the most respect for is Squat.
Oh,
sorry, you're going to do a drum
roll, but it's too late.
It's Squat.
Yeah.
Now, I know you might be thinking that Squat's a coward, he's not very effective. Not true.
No.
At least 3 or 4 times, Squat gets sent on missions and succeeds perfectly.
Here's some things Squat has done. He's successfully sabotaged a mind-reading machine.
Yep.
He's successfully stolen a doll from a Power Ranger's bedroom.
Yep.
Although maybe he didn't, it could have just been a dream.
Yep.
What else has he done?
There's been some other stuff. I can't remember.
Some other stuff.
But he always does it completely successfully without anyone noticing.
Yep.
He could give Sam Fisher or...
He was literally in Trini's bedroom.
Yeah.
I mean...
He could have slit... I know we said before, but he could have slit her throat in that moment.
It's just... Yeah. If you needed a monster to succeed on a mission, statistically, you are most likely to have success with Squat.
Yep. Absolutely. I think if I was an evil emperor and it was draft day and I had to pick one monster of all the Power Rangers to take on,
evil plan. Yep.
It would be Squat.
Yep.
He's the guy to get the job done, you know? And I think because Power Rangers don't take him seriously necessarily.
That's part of the other enjoyment, is that he's just a regular kind of hang-around in Rita's Palace monster.
Yep.
Who just happens to be incredibly effective and no one notices.
That's right. He's a cool guy. And the reason I wouldn't pick Tommy is because only an idiot would think that you could have a Power Ranger on your evil side and think that he wouldn't end up with a Power Ranger.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. You don't think it through.
No.
You know?
So that's our list.
Yeah.
That's been kind of like a nice walk through memory lane.
It has been. I like that. We should do that every 30 episodes. Maybe not. It's a lot of work.
It's going to be a long 30 episodes to go. Yeah. So we're going to go watch Calamity Kimberley.
Yeah, before we do that, though, I'd just like to say, let us know if you agree with the list.
Yeah.
Don't agree with it. Who's your number one?
If it's not Squad,
you're wrong.
I mean, try and sell us on someone else.
Yeah. We'd also like to know who you think was the worst.
Yeah. And if it wasn't Mr. Tickle Sneezer, why?
Yeah.
Any kind of opinion you have, you can, tweet us, Facebook us, comment on you could be an offensive YouTube comment, guys.
Isn't that what we all aspire to?
I think it truly is.
Yeah. You could accost us in the street if you managed to track us down.
If you somehow know what we look like and find us on the street, look, honestly, I wouldn't even be weirded out.
Yeah. I would just be impressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Glad to meet a fan.
Yeah. I really would be.
I know. That's a bit sad, actually. So we're going to watch Calamity Kimberley. You should too. Or you can not. As always, it's up to you. And we're back in a sec.
Bye, guys. And we're back. We just watched episode 31, Calamity Kimberley.
Yep. I would go so far as to say it was the second good episode in a row.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, okay.
No?
I don't think so.
Oh.
There's division in the Ranger ranks. For starters, it did not have any westernness. There was no...
I mean, that's true, but that's really all on you, accidentally calling it Calamity Jane. I mean, I feel like I don't think
that's all on me. I think there's an implication there. I also think that it's time to have a How I Met Your Mother style intervention with the writers of Power Rangers and their use of the word dimension.
Yeah.
Because, goddamn, it's
everything
getting out of hand.
Another dimension,
everything is another dimension. Literally everything.
The moon is another dimension. The Jim and Juice bar is probably another dimension. They mean place, is what they mean.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like when people use universe to mean dimension.
Yeah.
It's like they're in another universe. Many light years. No, like you mean it, yeah.
Yeah. It's bad and I hate it.
Okay. So we open with Kimberly waking up in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Having a bad day.
Yeah.
And so
it starts off with her alarm going off.
When she reaches over to turn it off, she breaks her lamp.
And then she falls out of bed, and she gets the bulk falling over sound.
Yep.
Which I think this is the first time. In this whole scene, the sound department had a field day with their little soundboard.
Yeah.
Because when she goes over towards the window, there's the sound of harps playing. It's all...
strange. Yeah, so she checks... She checks her hair in like a handheld mirror.
Yeah. Which
she drops and it breaks.
Yeah.
And then she just throws the broken mirror on her bed.
Yeah. Which seems bad.
She's going to have a bad night.
Yeah.
Certainly. She goes over to the window and everything is fine. And then she steps away from the window and it starts to thunderstorm.
She's kind of an offensively stereotypical teenager.
She goes to check her clothes and she finds one with a huge burn hole in the back, which
it doesn't seem like something that could happen by accident.
I'm pretty sure you would know from the 3rd-degree burns on your back that had happened. And then we see Squat outside the window, or just Squat's shadow.
Yeah.
Once again, reinforcing that
he can get anywhere and do anything you need him to.
Yep, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he goes up to Rita and says, "We should go after Kimberly because she's having a bad day."
I don't follow their logic so often, but
well, look
at this point,
if you can't defeat them on a regular day, right?
Yeah.
So when one of them's having a bad day, maybe you've got a shot.
I guess that makes a certain amount of twisted sense.
So Rita gets Finster to create a new monster.
Yes.
The Samurai Fan Man.
This is, I think, where I started to lose interest in the episode straight away.
The first problem is that it comes out sounding like the Samurai Firm.
Not only that, Samurai Fan Man is just such a lazy name.
You mean because he's kind of samurai looking and has a fan?
Yes. And he's masculine-ish.
That's true, I suppose.
And we also discover that one of his abilities is to have a bottle that sucks things in and makes them small and puts them in another dimension, which is the second time that's happened in 31 episodes.
It's even more than that if you restrict it to things that can suck people into other dimensions.
Oh, if that's the case, it's happened like 5 times. But this is like specifically a bottle.
Yep.
And the sucking sort of effect is the same. I don't understand. In a show that showed or demonstrated unbridled creativity before.
Yep.
We've got our second bottle.
Yep.
I don't get it, man. It's inconsistent in its inconsistency.
It's not even really a bottle, though. It's like shaped like a gourd, almost. Like it's
like
got
a what?
like a gourd.
What's a gourd?
It's like a fruit or vegetable that you can hollow out and use as like a musical instrument.
All right.
I'm putting it in the show notes because that's clearly an attitude of that's your look of you've just made that up.
Yeah, you definitely made that up.
I didn't.
It's a bottle. It has a cork.
Okay, it does have a cork. That's true.
Yeah.
So in the meantime,
yeah.
We go to school.
Yeah.
Kimberly has gotten soaking wet
because her umbrella broke on the way to school.
Bulk and Skull come over.
Yeah.
And Skull makes a crappy joke. You'd think Bulk and Skull would be more sympathetic to someone who was soaking wet.
Considering that happened to them literally every day.
Yes.
But no. It's kind of regular douchey.
Yep.
Tommy's there, though. I guess he's back from wherever the hell he was last week. He hasn't mentioned anything.
No.
But he defends Kimberly's honour.
Yep.
And they're clearly setting them up as a couple.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of that going on.
I think that's quite, from this episode, if not from any other previous episode, they're definitely kind of being set up that way.
As romance, yeah. Tommy calls Bulk banana brains.
Yep.
I would like to know if you think that was ever something a teenager called another teenager.
Oh no, but I mean that wouldn't stop this show.
I just again, it just seems lazy.
Yeah.
You know? Go out and ask a teenager, what would you call someone who you thought was an idiot?
But you can't call someone a fucktard on Power Rangers, okay? That's just not considered acceptable.
I guess banana brains is the next thing you go to. If not fucktards, banana brains.
So, look, long story short, Bulk ends up in like a mop container.
Yeah.
We're not going to spend a lot of time on that.
No.
I don't think you guys need us to.
It was definitely their obligatory, Bulk has to have something embarrassing happen to him. Has to be in the episode, non-negotiable.
And so Tommy says, do you want me to walk you home from school?
Not before he says those two should have their own TV show.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which was the producers talking out of Tommy's mouth.
No one has ever thought that.
Look, except the producers.
Of all of the things in Power Rangers that I would consider spinning off into their own show, Bulk and Skull aren't even on that list.
Nope. Again, they tried.
I would watch Goldar Runs Away from things before I watched Bulk and Skull's TV show. But yes, they did try, and I believe it's a special feature on the DVDs that we'll get to at some point.
Yeah. I think Goldar Runs Away from things deserves to be like a meme.
It probably should be. There's probably a supercut on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy offers to walk Kimberly home from school, and Kimberly says, anything could happen, which is about the most blatant come on I've ever heard in a children's television show.
Yeah.
Like, she's offering him.
And I think her delivery of it sells it as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they hooked up.
Yeah.
Off camera. Because she, quote-unquote, acts better than she's ever, quote-unquote, acted before, so I'm not sure it was...
All acting.
All acting, exactly.
That would be interesting. I wonder if anyone's... I don't know that I've ever heard anything about that.
Yeah.
But it seems incredibly unlikely that there was never a fling on a Power Rangers set.
Mm.
I mean, you get 5, 19 to 22-year-olds. You put them together 5 days a week for 6 months, 8 months.
Something's probably going to happen.
It seems like in 20 years, the odds of nothing ever happening are pretty slim.
I think the problem is that the Entertainment Tonight reporters weren't still staking out the Power Rangers set to see what happens.
That's true. So then we get the Samurai Fan Man again.
Yeah.
And my first note is he doesn't have a fan.
No.
But he will have a fan.
Yeah.
It's not like he never had a fan.
No.
He does get a fan.
But for a while, you're sort of like, does he really enjoy certain things? I don't...
He's a fan of samurai.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, yeah.
So he uncorks his bottle.
Yeah, he does.
And that doesn't mean a thing. And where's the cork? Anyway, Tommy and Kimberly, who are walking home, get attacked by, like, swirly yellow animated wind.
Yeah.
That
does look a bit like glowy bees.
It's going very slowly
Yeah.
for something that is being said to be doing as much damage as it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, it knocks Tommy straight to the ground. He gets covered in leaves. Kimberly gets caught in the jar, bottle, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's all just... the animation is happening very slowly.
It's pretty bad special effects, even for the show.
Yes.
And the cut with that in the Japanese footage
is pretty blatant.
Pretty sketchy.
But nowhere near as sketchy as some of the rest of this episode.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad.
So Kimberly's trapped.
Yep.
Zordon calls the other Rangers.
Because Tommy's been taken out of action.
Yes, Tommy is kind of nebulously hurt.
Yep. And Alpha prepares some sort of weird...
pipe chair
yeah.
contraption.
It looks like something that would be good for your back.
Yeah, which is probably good in case he hurt his back.
That's true. But he also... Alpha whips out a giant tricorder, I guess, which is able to read his...
That's not even the most ridiculous thing Alpha has.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't remember what happens next.
I don't either.
Is this the part where we see the weird thing on the viewing globe?
What weird thing?
They go and fight the Fan Man.
Yeah.
And they lose to the Fan Man.
Yeah, so they have a bit of a fight with him, and then he gets out the fan.
Yeah.
And what that does is blow the Rangers away.
Yes.
And it begins to teleport them. And it looks like Zordon was concerned they were going to be blown into another dimension, separate from the bottle dimension. It could be
the first bottle dimension.
But why would but he had to suck Kimberly in to get it into... I think it's a different dimension.
Okay. So the sucking and the blowing are two different dimensions.
Yeah. So Zordon recalls them, catches the teleport,
He does Chekhov in that first Star Trek movie where
he reverses the polarity?
Yeah, he catches them before they hit the ground.
Yeah.
That's a movie that is much better than this TV show.
Yeah.
You
take them back to the command center.
Yeah. And then we see the strangest thing that we have ever seen in this show.
And what infuriates me is that it's brought up, you see it for a second, and it's never mentioned again, despite being the most interesting thing that's ever happened on Power Rangers.
Mate, can you describe what it is, please?
Okay, so Jason asks, where are these guys that have Kimberly? And Zordon says, offhandedly,
yep. Like this is this is the surf club from last week.
Yeah. He goes, they're at the Pudgy Bowl restaurant. And then we cut to the viewing globe, which shows the villain of the week, Samurai Fan Man, and Goldar and some of the other evil monsters at a nice-looking outdoor restaurant being served by putties in, waiter and chef outfits.
I mean, look, we cannot possibly do it justice.
No, it's bizarre!
I think both of us kind of went, what the fuck?
And, I wanted to know so much more context. I was like, are they separate parties that they create only for service purposes? How does the restaurant make money if it's only catering to the evil space aliens?
Okay, hear me out, right?
Yeah.
Parties have been around for 6.5 months.
Yeah.
Assuming roughly real time.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a theme restaurant.
Yeah.
They're not putties. They're people dressed as putties.
Ah.
Right? Who you go down and you get the Power Rangers experience. Some dude's cashed in.
That seems a pretty bad taste, though. In this universe, it would be the terrorist cafe.
It's not like a putty has ever seriously injured anybody, though.
Well, but we're supposed to think that that is possible.
That's true, I suppose.
It just, that seems in bad taste, I guess.
Okay, I'm not willing to rule it out, though, just because it's...
It's the best explanation I've heard.
Frankly, that's the problem is that makes more sense than that's just a restaurant that's run by puddies.
See, this is where they took Japanese footage,
Yep.
and they managed to complicate it so much. Because if they had have just shown us the footage, you could assume, the evil space aliens took over a restaurant.
No, but Zordon gives it a name.
That's right. That's what makes it so strange. Like, they weren't just fucking around in a restaurant. Apparently, it's a thing.
It's the cafe.
Yeah, that Zordon knew about.
Frankly, guys, if you haven't been watching the show, you need to find this episode.
Just for that 5-second moment.
I'll see if I can find it on YouTube for you, and we'll put a clip in the show notes. Because it is truly bizarre.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where they took something strange in the Japanese footage and managed to make it so much stranger, you know? And we imagine that the writers are in the room taking these bizarre Japanese concepts, trying to sort of flatten them out and make them sensible for American audiences.
Nope.
They just cranked it up to 11 on the crazy.
This definitely is 11 on the crazy. So we see a bit of a fight there.
Yeah, so they go to the restaurant. You don't really see any more of the patty bowl.
Frankly, to be perfectly honest, you could have not included that clip.
Yeah.
And it would have made just as much sense.
Much more sense.
That's
much more sense.
Oh, dear. Did you notice the motorcycles in the background of this fight?
I did. Is this the first time we see the Power Rangers motorcycles?
Yes, they're called the battle bikes.
Yep.
Now, my understanding is that we don't see a lot of them.
Okay.
They were used more frequently in the Sentai.
Yep.
But they aren't in this.
Yep.
And they're 3 bikes, red, blue, and black.
Yep.
The yellow and pink Rangers sit in sidecars of the blue and black.
That's so sexist.
They weren't both ladies, though.
I know.
So,
once again, it just happens to be sexist. I did notice when the Rangers are getting teleported back to the command center, we see a shot in the viewing globe, which is the Japanese actors outside of their Power Rangers uniform falling. And I think that's the first time we've ever seen all 5 Japanese actors on screen outside of Ranger uniforms.
It's certainly the first time it's kind of been a shot, rather than like a brief appearance of someone because they were in the fight and it couldn't be cut around.
Exactly, we've seen like brief moments of them individually.
Yes,
but it's the only time we've ever seen them all together.
It's nice, kind of.
It's
not really homage because it's probably just by accident.
Totally by accident.
Yeah, that's how it is. So. Then, look, long story short, there's a fight with the monster. That's not the interesting part. You guys know how those go. There's some fan action. He has a stick as well. But
he seems to be winning the fight, but once again, despite that, Rita decides to make him grow anyway.
At which point, they decide they need the Dragon Zord to fight him off.
Well, no, before that, they get out their 4 individual swords.
They fight him for a bit.
And it's kind of cool in that we get to see a lot of different combinations of Zords in this episode.
I'm pretty sure we see every combination of the Zords that there is.
Yeah, just about at this stage. So we see
the individual Zords
fighting a bit by themselves, using their cannons and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
They decide they need the Dragon Zord.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. Tommy has to, be awake and get up.
Yeah.
I don't quite know why.
No, because I think later we get to see Jason controlling Dragon Zord using Tommy's dagger. You know?
But given that he doesn't sit in it, I don't see why he couldn't sit in the command center, watch it on the viewing globe, and control it from there.
But the Wi-Fi range isn't that far.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's got to be line of sight.
That's right.
Okay, it's infrared.
Yeah.
That makes no sense, but okay, let's go with it.
It's for Power Rangers, I think it makes pretty good sense.
So how does he get it when it's under the sea? Never mind. And luckily Goldar has shown up.
Yep.
Because now that the Dragon Zord's there, Goldar can fight the Tyrannosaurus Zord.
Yep.
And the Dragon Zord fights individually for a bit.
Yep.
And then we get the Dragon Zord battle mode.
Yep.
Which is the Dragon Zord standing up, humanoid.
Yep.
And then we get, I think, the Mega Dragon Zord.
Well, first of all, they managed to knock the bottle out of the monster's hands to release Kimberley. And Kimberley the moment she steps foot on solid ground coming out of the bottle, manages to morph straight away, which is kind of
Well,
impressive.
she's been waiting for it.
Yeah, but you think it'd be a little disorientating being warped between dimensions.
Oh, I mean, they're used to it by now. It's happened about 30 times.
That's fair. That's a good point, actually.
So
yeah,
the first dimensional warp, your first time's pretty rough. Your 30th time, it's like sleeping.
Yeah. So Kimberley gets out the pterodactyl Zord.
Yep.
And as you said, they make the...
So first they make I think it's the Mega Dragon Zord.
Yeah.
Which is the Dragon Zord and everyone except Jason and Kimberley.
Yeah.
And then they pull that apart pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And get the Megazord and the Dragon Zord.
Yep.
And then we get the Ultra Zord pre-stage.
Yep.
Which is the Megazord wearing the Dragon Zord's top like a cloak.
Yep.
And then we get the Ultra Zord.
Which is Titanus rolling out.
And that thing standing in its back.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm pretty sure, every form of the Megazord that there is.
At this stage,
And
I think so.
You know, that I thought that was kind of cool.
It was cool, but it also exposes that sort of, that weird feeling we have, like, what is the monster doing while it's changing forms? And because they change forms like 5 times...
And why don't they just go to the last form straight away?
Exactly. It seems a little excessive. It does seem like they're deliberately rolling through every...
It's like, the rules for only use your weapons for defense.
Yeah.
They have to test each form against it.
Yeah.
And when one form isn't enough, they can escalate.
Then they're allowed to.
But you couldn't go to the Ultra Zord straight off if the Megazord could beat him. Because that would be not for defense.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is not a consistent rule.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Which is probably good, because otherwise we'd have to sit through those every week.
Yeah.
I think they're more exciting when they happen sporadically.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you reckon being a suit actor pays?
Not much.
Because in this fight, it looks pretty fun.
It does look fun.
They look like they have, they get blown through a mountain.
Yeah.
And, and they do a flip almost. There's some fun stuff in the fight. And I reckon it's awful, because you're in a full body suit.
I've actually been in a full body suit before, those giant character costumes?
Yeah.
I've been in one of those.
Oh, you were Event Boy.
Actually, there's that as well.
Have you been in 2?
I've been in 2, come to think of it. So
is 2 a fetish, or is 3 a fetish?
I hope 3's a fetish. Let's say 3.
Okay.
If you've been to event cinemas in Australia, obviously, you may have noticed, although they're not super prominent, that there's mascots called Event Boy and Event Girl, the 2 least creative mascots of all time. And Event Cinemas has a few character costumes, which is basically just a super generic character superhero costume.
Yep.
With a big, huge character head on top of it. And I've done that, and I've also done, at the pool I worked at as a swimming teacher,
right.
They had the boy, or maybe the girl's called Sandy, and I can't remember what the boy's name was, but I got to be the boy.
Did they oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Did they teach kids to swim, that sort of stuff?
Not
I don't mean actually be responsible for lessons, because that sounds like an unsafe way for you to supervise.
Yeah.
But I mean
in the canon.
Yeah, they say
I don't even know what their deal was, to be honest, but the heads on these characters were gigantic.
Right.
And they were supposed to have fans in them to keep your head cool. But the fans are broken.
The fans are always broken, is my understanding.
Yeah, and it was woeful. You came out as if you'd been swimming. You're so sweaty. Yeah. And sort of so hot that you're delirious.
Ooh.
And, you'll try and keep happy. It's deeply unpleasant. So, no, I don't envy those guys.
I mean, at least these guys would probably have shot on, an indoor air-conditioned set.
But even if you're, the pools are air-conditioned, but because you're inside these huge suits...
It's not really,
There's nothing to be done. It's unpleasant.
And I guess that explains the large shift towards CGI Megazords. And I imagine it's probably cheaper.
I don't even know that it's cheaper. I think they probably think it looks more modern and cool. I would argue against that.
Yeah, I like it less.
I do like it. I like it much less, but I think that's the theory behind it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's basically the end of that. Goldar teleports away.
Because that's his whole deal.
That's his thing. We were just talking about it, and he does it. So then we go back to, I think it's Billy's garage, and we get, I know we said last week was the last appearance of the Rad Bug, but this week we get just the tiniest corner of it.
Just the tip.
Okay, if you want to put it like that, then let's put it like that. Billy's working on it. Billy's kind of in the center of the shot,
yeah,
and you can just see part of the bumper. It's not a big shot. Are you being just... Oh.
Nope.
So yeah, I guess maybe the Rad Bug will pop up here and there in backgrounds and stuff, but that's how it is. And there's the Power Rangers are on the news, and the news guy calls them the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious.
Despite that not being... Maybe it's like the media nickname. That's what they call it. But I don't know that they morph.
No. In fact, I got the impression that they didn't know that they were human.
Yeah.
But I guess them going into the giant robots could be vaguely characterized as morphin.
It seems kind of, yeah, I don't know. Anyone who's heard them shout, "It's morphin time," knows their secret identity.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any of those yet.
No.
Look, it's just
another thing that is strange.
Let's be honest, guys. This show is not always held to the most rigorous of continuity standards.
And on the scale, when the Pudgy Bowl restaurant is at the far end,
this is barely even surprising.
Yeah, that's right.
I
really need to know more about the Pudgy Bowl restaurant. You guys, it's going to drive me crazy.
You know what's worse? We're going to look it up, and you're going to find out that in Japan it was just as bizarre and nonsensical.
But I'm sure they actually gave it some breathing room, and you got to find out a bit more about what the fuck was going on there.
I don't think there was like a 2-hour expose documentary.
That's not what I meant. Yeah, and then the TV blows up because Kim's having a bad day. Wah wah. End of episode.
I mean, that feels a bit kind of that makes it sound worse than it is.
I think it was exactly as worse as Anyway, so yeah, I guess having talked it through with you.
Yep.
I think it's not quite as bad as I first reacted to it. It is very choppy. It's another one of those episodes that feels barely stitched together from Japanese footage. Sort of barely coherent. But it is, it's entertaining.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's it for the week, unless you had anything else to say.
I don't think so. What have we got next?
Next week is called A Star is Born.
Oh, okay.
Episode 33. Well, do you want to bet the monster's a star shape?
Well, Rockstar was a star shape.
That's true. It would be weird to have 2 star... Maybe this one will have it like an actual musical star in it.
It'd be weird to have that, but not in Rockstar.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. But, we'll see, I guess.
We'll see.
We'll be back with a new guest.
Hopefully.
It'll depend on some stuff, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe a new guest, maybe a returning guest.
Yep.
We don't know at this point, but you will find out.
The future is filled with unlimited potential.
You will find out less than a week from today. Or possibly exactly a week from today. Depends on when you're listening to this. If you're listening to it like when it goes up, it'll be a week. If you're listening to it less than when it goes
we
after
should
when it
never
goes up.
record this late at night again.
I mean, look, it is 10:30, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty done.
It's been a big week.
I think there's a reason that we don't do this on Friday nights.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us through.
We'll be back next week, obviously.
Yep.
And
we love you.
We do love you. And we'll see you next week.